Yo, what's up, guys? It's Devin. Getting an early research show in for the Masters. Draftkings released the pricing, and so yeah, I figured we might as well jump in and look at it, get an early look, get a good week of preparation. So this is just the normal research show. This will probably be like the DraftKings show, and then I might do a couple of other small videos throughout the week leading up. I haven't made any bets. Um, so, famously, for me, the best bet I have ever made was at the Masters last year. I really started to, I really got into like playing golf and during quarantine, and I really started to like just fall in love with the game. Like it was something I never even considered before, and um, then when the PGA started coming back, at that time when we were in lockdown during COVID, I was playing. I played DraftKings like here and there and stuff, and sports betting wasn't legalized in Michigan then, so there was no like I never bet on anything. But during COVID quarantine, I was one of those people that was grinding like League of Legends DFS lineups. Because League of Legends was a game that I played growing up and watched the professional scene in League of Legends, so I actually knew it, and I actually took down quite a few of the contests during that lockdown period. Just being able to stay up all night and watch like the Chinese and Korean players, and just taking advantage of knowing about the game, knowing the players, and watching them for years. So, but coming out of that, when the PGA Tour started coming back, it was really the only professional sports league that was back and you could do DFS lineups in. And that's when I started kind of getting into this thing, was with uh, the COVID restart. And that's where I started learning more about the players. At first I wasn't watching golf really, but I was like watching. I was keeping track of shots on the PJ Tour app and things like that. And I've watched Pat Mayo for years for football and things like that. And I started, weekly listening to his golf podcast and learning more about golf and learning about the intricacies of each course. And I just continued that, and it only got better like when sports betting got legalized in Michigan. I then started betting on golf as well. So my love for golf kind of spiraled from the COVID quarantine, um, and starting to play myself, and just doing PGA lineups when you couldn't really do anything else for DraftKings other than like video game professional leagues. So that's just kind of like the backstory for me. And then 2021 and 2022, like when sports gambling started, picking up in Michigan, I started betting loosely like at the end of 2021 on golf. And then 2022 is when I really started to bet more on golf. Nothing too crazy, but the craziest bet I've ever like made, um, was last year at the Masters. I bet Scotty Scheffler because he went on his run, so Um, he won Phoenix, and then he won API. And right after he won the API, I was like, maybe he can win the Masters. And I still like was pretty new to the betting and all that, and I seen his number, and now thinking about it, it's like, wow, getting Scotty Scheffler at 35 to 1 on a future bet going into the Masters last year was kind of crazy. But after he won Arnold Palmer, I bet $100 on him to win the Masters at 35 to 1. So then he after he won API and after I made the bet, he won the match play, and then um, he won the Masters, and that was the most thrilling weekend of like watching golf for me, and I really think that's what like took it to the next step for me, was like having the sweat of having that big of a bet, and it was up in the air on Sunday. You know, Cam Smith and Scotty Scheffler were going back and forth, and uh, I think I believe it's hole number 12 is the, you know, the really pretty par three over the water with the bridge. Um, I remember Cam Smith dunked it on that par three, and I knew, I was like, this is it. Like, I won this bet. I won this bet. There's no way he's like gonna come back from dunking it in the water, and um, yeah, when watching like Scotty sink, I mean, watching Scotty miss like three putts and then finally putting it in because his nerves were so high, but he had such a lead it didn't matter. But it was awesome, and it's just really catapulted me to, you know, continue doing what I'm doing. And you know, since then, this year I've hit two outrights. I've had so many freaking runner ups, it's insane. So I hit Homa at where did Homa win? Farmers, and then I hit Chris Kirk at Honda, and then yeah, and then, you know, just getting into a one and done league this year and actually doing decently at it, and I'm just enjoying this, and I like doing this, and you know, I guess these videos more or less are just me kind of talking myself through my thoughts, and you know, things do change. You know, I do the video on Mondays so that there's more eyes on it. And, you know, once this kind of gets bigger, I hope to be able to do like a Wednesday show with like final thoughts, because things do change. Weather changes, injuries happen, uh, looking at ownership makes pivots. And so things do change, you know. Like last week, I was really on Tyrrell Hatton. The ownership in one and done, the ownership in Draftkings really like shied me away from him, and I made a switch and I took him out of my single entry lineups and I switched off of him in one and done, and I happened to switch to Cam Young in one and done, and it worked out perfectly for me. And I'm just kind of learning like where to pivot, when not to pivot. When you really like someone, you know, stay on them. So these videos are just always my thoughts and how I feel about it, and I'm just talking through the process and what I'm seeing and things like that. You know, if you guys take it and it helps you at all, I hope it does. Um, I can't guarantee that every week is going to be good. You know, like for instance, it seems like a lot of the time I'm a week early on guys. Like Matt Wallace, I said Matt Wallace was one of my favorite plays, and uh, then the next week he comes out and he wins the Corrales, and I was like, okay, yeah, cool. I mean, awesome. So that seems to happen a little bit, but it's okay. It's cool. I enjoy it. So let's jump into the Masters. That's my little rant at the beginning of the video. Sorry if you're still here. Let's get into it now. So, um, you know, when looking at Fantasy National and looking at any projection site, whatever you use, this is going to be a little hard because, you know, for instance, there's no like strokes gain numbers. I mean, there's obviously like a strokes gain total number for LIV, but like there's no intricate details on like strokes gain off the tee, approach, around the green, putting, things like that. And like Fantasy National doesn't tie in those events. I know like Rick Run Good, he has all these tours and the strokes gain for all of them. So, but I use Fantasy National. I just like Fantasy National. I like the way you can do things on Fantasy National. So it's gonna be a little hard on here because these LIV guys, what stats are being pulled are from PGA Tour events from last year. And as we know, some of these guys have fallen off, or they just don't care anymore. You know, now that they've got their guaranteed money, they can just go out there and play casual golf. I mean, you kind of see it with Brooks Koepka. you see it with a lot of these guys. You know, Cam Smith hasn't really looked the same, but it doesn't mean Cam Smith won't show up this week. And Cam Smith played wonderfully here last year. So I think certain guys have the motivation still to play that are on the LIV tour. They still want to try to compete for majors, and stay in them and be successful. And I think there's some guys that just kind of are like, okay, I can do with not playing these and just kind of playing the LIV events. But we do have quite a few LIV guys. So this is going to be a little interesting to look at. It's going to be hard to really, you can really justify the active PGA Tour guys because we have their statistics for all the tournaments they've been playing, over the last 6 months or whatever. But these LIV guys, we don't really have much, and we're pulling from events from, some of these guys left halfway through the season last year. Some of these guys like Cam Smith left at the end of the year after the Tour Championship. So some of their numbers are a little bit, from later in the year. But again, not all of them have played the same way. So take that with a grain of salt. Some of these guys are going to pop up a little bit higher just because those stats that are being pulled are from events from a year ago, 8 months ago. So I do think there are LIV guys that I am interested in, and so let's get into it. Let's just look at strokes gained last 50 rounds. Let me switch over to strokes gained. Sorry, I had it on the custom model. So over the last 50 rounds, measured rounds, Roy McIlroy is number 1. Scotty Scheffler 2, John Rahm 3, Tony Finau 4, Max Homa 5, Cam Smith is 5, Jason Day 7, Patrick Cantlay 8, Sungjae Im 9, Xander Schauffele 10. Some notables: Zalatoris at 11. This is where it gets, you got Joaquin Niemann at 14. You got Taylor Gooch at 21, Dustin Johnson at 22, Mito Pereira at 20. So you got to take these with a grain of salt. So, and even when we shorten the rounds, let's just go to 12. You're still going to see these LIV guys pop up because it's still taking the last 12 rounds that were measured from, like Cam Smith will be from the Tour Championship, the BMW, or I'm sorry, St. Jude, the Open, things like that. So that's where it's a little tough. But I think what's really important this week is looking at course history. There are guys that just play well here year after year. Corey Connors, the last 3 years, he's been top 10. Cam Champ always seems to show up at the Masters for some reason. There's guys that just don't show up at the Masters. Like, you got Patrick Cantlay, who just never seems to show up at majors. So there's a lot of things to look at here, but let's just go through and let's look at my custom stat model. Gonna take, like I said, the LIV guys stuff with a grain of salt. So what I've got is I kind of took what Pat Mayo has and I just kind of ran with it because it's kind of hard because you just have strokes gained total at the Masters. You don't have all the intricate details because they don't have TrackMan at the Masters. And so what I got for the Masters custom model is strokes gained off the tee 20%, strokes gained on approach 30%, proximity 175 to 200 10%. You got long par 4s here, long par 5s. So strokes gained par 5 5%. It's going to be important to score on the par 5s. Driving distance 10%. Driving distance can help here, especially with changes to the course and things like that. Par 4s 400 450. A lot of the par 4s on this course fall within this range. I got 10% on that. Strokes gained par 4s 5%, opportunities gained 5%, and eagles 5%. So let's load that in, and then before we get into looking at the players, we'll look at the course breakdown real quick. I don't know if this has the change to, if I remember correctly, it's 13. I believe 13 is the one that got extended. But yeah, so what we got here, hole one, par four, 445 yards, uh, is a more of a par slash bogey hole. Not gonna see a lot of birdies there. Two is a par five, 575 yards, almost a 40% birdie rate, almost a 2% eagle rate as well. Three is a par four, that's 350 yards. So hey, maybe some guys can get it there. Eight, almost 20% birdie rate, 64% par rate. Hole four is a par three, 240 yards. It's the third hardest hole on the course. Five is a 495-yard par four. It's the fifth hardest hole on the course. So there's a tough stretch here between 4 and 7, and then you got a tough stretch from 10 to 12, and then 18 is a tough test. So there are some easy holes, some scoreable holes, and then there are some holes that you will need some help. So yeah, let's just get into the players and what I like. So with my custom model, I'm gonna go the last 24 rounds. I hate that because it's just gonna bring up the LIV guys a little bit. We'll go 24. We'll take the LIV guys stuff with a grain of salt. Now, I will point out some guys that I do like, that I think will still get up, try to win, try to have a good showing. So we'll go through all that, but we'll just go through the salary range. So in my model, Scotty Scheffler at 11,100 ranks number 2. He's the defending champion. We've seen him defend at, was it Phoenix or was it Arnold Palmer? It was Phoenix, right? I don't even remember. Wow, what one did he defend at? Man, so much golf has been happening. He defended at Phoenix. He almost defended at API, and then he won the Players. So Scotty Scheffler is in great form. Putter is what can be worrisome with him. His ball striking is out of this world, man. This guy, he is just striping it with his driver, with his irons. His around the green play is amazing as well. It's really just about the putter. If he's going to be sinking every putt or whatever, he can be either terribly off or on fire with the putter. So the Scheffler, man, it's hard. It's a tough price to take, but I think he's got a great shot at defending him, and he's in form. He looks great. I like Scotty Scheffler. Jon Rahm at 10-8 comes out third in my model. I mean, these top three guys you can't go wrong with. Scotty, Jon Rahm, and Rory McIlroy. I mean, Rory McIlroy's been practicing the hell out of this course. It seems like he finally got the driver figured out. Whatever changes he made, man, he was lighting up Austin Country Club. And let me tell you, heartbreaker was in the freaking match, the group stage. Watching that match with Denny McCarthy, Denny's up, and then Rory starts coming back. Going to 18, Denny can tie the match. And Rory drives that par 4 and sticks it to 3 feet for eagle. That was insane. I watched that shot, and I just immediately, because I had Denny McCarthy in my lineups, and I just didn't think Rory was going to have it figured out. Man, when he stuck that thing to 3 feet, I just turned it off. I was just like, yeah, that's it. That's it right there. He put the dagger in him, and he did it in style, man. That was an awesome drive. It was an awesome shot to see. So I don't think you can go wrong with any of these three. Will Scotty defend? Will Jon Rahm put on the green jacket for the first time? Or will Rory McIlroy put the green jacket on for the first time and finally complete the career Grand Slam? You can't go wrong with any of these three. I think it's going to be hard to get two of these guys in the same lineup. And I think it's going to be hard, not only because there's not like the value, but there are also just so many good plays down the board, and prices that just seem a little too cheap. So I could see going two of these guys is just going to be it's going to be hard. If you think one of these guys is going to win, I suggest putting that guy in your lineup. Who cares about the ownership? If you believe one of these three is going to win, put him in your lineup. Get different elsewhere. So if you think one of these three guys is going to win, you put them in and you plug in after and figure it out, because you can't go wrong with any of these guys. The downside with Rory is the putter. He seems like he's got everything else figured out. Scotty's the same way. The putter is the downside if he's cold with it. And John Rahm, I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's had some lackluster performances for John Rahm's standard. But he had to withdraw from the players after the first round because he might have shit himself if he went back out on the course that day. So that was unfortunate. But I mean, look how many times he's won. He's won 3 of his last 7 starts. I mean, there's nothing wrong with John. I mean, other than this not so good finish at Arnold Palmer because he lost 7 strokes off the tee, which you rarely see with John Rahm. I mean, before that, 4th, 1st, 7th, 3rd, 1st. I think John Rahm might be in line to win the Masters this year. I mean, I think it's gonna be one of these 3 guys. Honestly, I do. But so plug who you think is gonna win in up there and take it. So from Rory McIlroy, you got quite a drop down to the next guy. You got an $800 drop to Cam Smith. LIV Golf's Cam Smith at $9,800. Who knows? I mean, not good performances so far on the LIV circuit. We'll see what they do this weekend. These guys are playing in Florida this weekend. I don't think it's going to really tell you what you're going to see coming into the Masters. From what I hear, the course is not really a course these guys should be playing at, but they are. So I would take that with a grain of salt. I mean, if you see Cam Smith go out and win this week, that doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it could. So it's a big question mark with the LIV guys. But we've seen what Cam Smith did here last year. He's a great putter. He's great around the green. He can spray it off the tee. And his approach play is pretty good as well. So if he can have that performance that he had last year, he's going to be up there again. And he might take it. Who knows? So I could see playing Cam Smith at 9,800. Jordan Spieth at 9,700. Didn't like what I saw at the match play, especially since I had him in my lineups and he killed me. And sad day. But it's Jordan Spieth. Jordan Spieth plays well at the Masters. We want to take a look at see what Spieth's done at the Masters. Let me get a drink real quick. So let's see what he's been doing recently. So match play is obviously not in here, but 3rd at Valspar, 19th at the Players, 4th at Arnold Palmer, missed the cut at Genesis, and a 6th at Phoenix. So he's been playing pretty well. Seems like he is in line for a good finish at the Masters. So let's look at his history here. Pretty good. He's won it. So he won it in 2015. 2nd in 2014, 2nd in 2016, 11th in 2017, 3rd in 2018, 21st in 2019, 46th in 2020. But remember, the 2020 Masters was played in November, so different course conditions. He got a 3rd in 2021, and then he missed the cut last year, but he was not playing well last year. So at the beginning of the year. So I think Jordan has a great shot at winning. He can compete with these guys, as you can see from these elevated events. I mean, he's competed. And this is a course that Jordan likes. He can get creative around here. What you really got to hope for is, it seems like he's got the putter back in line. Got to hope the putter's neutral or I mean, you want it to be positive, but at least neutral. His approach play is always going to be good, and his around the green game, he's like a freaking genie. So no problems there. You just got to worry about his off the tee and if his putter goes cold. That's the problems with Jordan Spieth. I apologize. This is gonna be a long video. I want to talk through all this. I want to talk through it all for myself, for you guys. So we're gonna deep dive into this. Patrick Cantlay, guy just doesn't show up at majors. I mean, he's been showing up at these elevated events though. But let's look at his Masters record. I mean, I don't like it. I don't like it. And at what is Patrick Cantlay's price? 9,500. I don't know. I don't know if I can get behind that. He's probably gonna be a pivot. You know, a great play to get off of ownership on guys around him like Spieth, like Homa, Morikawa, probably Xander, probably Tony. I mean, I could see everybody around him being more owned than him. Maybe except for Justin Thomas, but Cantlay might be a good pivot, and people might look at the course history and be like, ugh. And he doesn't show up at majors, which he doesn't, but he's been playing great. He's number one in this field and off the tee. Again, take these with a grain of salt. Second in par 5 scoring, 14th in driving distance, 6th in scoring on par 4s, 10th in opportunities gained, 22nd in eagles. That's pretty good. So, who knows? Maybe if he's got low ownership, we go to Patrick Cantlay at 9,500. Not even touching Justin Thomas. We're not even going to talk about him. I don't know what is going on with Justin Thomas, but it's not good. It's not good, and I don't like that coming into the Masters. He will be extremely low owned, more than likely. I'm not going to tell you not to play him. I'm going to tell you I'm not playing him. I don't like what I've seen from him. If you want to do it because of the ownership, or you really think Justin Thomas is going to turn around, be my guest, but I'm passing. I should star the guys I like as we go along. So I like all those guys. I like Spieth. Homa, interesting. Homa has elevated himself this year. He won at the Farmers. He won at Fortinet back in September. Second at Genesis, that battle with John Rahm. 6th at the Players, 14th at API. So he's really been showing up, and he has really elevated himself. And he probably is the 4th best player in the world right now, behind the big 3. He's really showing up. Let's look at what he's done at the Masters. Not good, but he is a totally different player than the former versions of himself. I mean, he kind of did the same thing last year. Showed up at Phoenix, showed up at Genesis, showed up at API, showed up at the Players. Not so good at the Masters. He's doing the same thing this year. Let's see what he did in 2021. Not so good at Phoenix. 7th at Pebble Beach. Won the Genesis. 22nd at Mayakoba. 10th at Arnold Palmer. Missed the cut at Players. Missed the cut at Masters. Maybe it's just not a course for him. I probably won't play Max. I think Max is going to have a lot of hype on him. I think Max is possibly going to be pretty high owned, especially considering he's at 9,200. When's the last time we saw Max Homa at 9,200? So, I think he could be high price or high owned, and maybe this is just not a course that doesn't suit him possibly. So, I'm probably gonna pass on Max. I love Max. Max is probably my favorite player. I love his attitude. I just love the way he plays. I don't think I'm going to him this week. Collin Morikawa. Now, Collin Morikawa at 9,100. Let me tell you, I like this 91 to 81 range. I like a lot of guys in this range. So I like Morikawa. He's coming back around. He's 5th in approach in this model. He's 6th in the rank for the model. 5th in approach, 5th in proximity 175-200, 6th in par 5 scoring, 2nd in par 4 400-450. Excuse me, gotta take another drink. 8th in strokes in par 4s, 24th in opportunities gained, and 19th in Eagles. Let's take a look at what Colin's been doing. I like what I'm seeing with Colin. It's just the putter, man. It's the putter, and man, it's the putter. Colin just could get the putter just consistent. A consistent neutral would be but 13th at the Players, losing almost 3 strokes putting, but gaining 9.4 strokes on approach. That's insane. Missed the cut at Arnold Palmer. 6th at Genesis. Always seems to do good there. 3rd at Farmers. 2nd at Century. Missed the cut at Phoenix. Let's look at what Mr. Colin Morikawa, what he's done at the Masters. Okay. 2020. 44th. Again, played in November. Totally different conditions. 2021. 18th. 2022. 5th. And so I like Colin. I think Colin could show up here. I think he could really show up here. I think he could compete. I think he could win. I think there's a lot of people. I think there's probably like 15 guys that can win this tournament. And it's going to be fun to watch. Xander Schauffele at 9,000. I like him. He always plays well at the I shouldn't say always, but he plays well at the Masters. He understands the course. Xander's just a all around, gets it done all around. So taking a little bit deeper of a dive on him. He's been losing strokes off the tee the last 2 times out. Had a great match play. That was good to see. He got taken out by Roy McIlroy in a playoff in the 2nd round, or was it the 3rd round? I think it was the 2nd round. I don't know. Sorry, it's gone. After we're done with it, it's gone. But he lost to Rory in a playoff, and it was a hell of a match. It was a hell of a match. I mean, they were going back and forth. It was a really good match. If he wouldn't have ran into Roy, who knows how far Xander would have went. So, yeah, lost strokes off the tee at the Players and Arnold Palmer. But, you know, he's great around the green. He's great with the putter. Great on approach. I mean, he's had some great finishes. Great finishes except for like Genesis and API. But let's take a look at his Masters record. So he missed the cut here last year. Unfortunate. The year before that, 3rd. In the November Masters, the 17th. And in 2019, a 2nd. So I like Xander Schauffele, and he is coming in. Great form. If he can figure out this off the tee, hey, watch out for Xander. Another guy I think can win the tournament. So I like Xander a lot. Tony Finau. Hey, another guy I like in this range. 8,900 for Tony Finau. 5th in the model. 3rd on approach. 11th in the proximity, 175 to 200. 5th in strokes gained par 5. 1st in par 4s, 400, 450. 5th in strokes gained par 4. And 5th in opportunities gained. Downside for Tony, guess what? Putter. Putter has been hit and miss. So his approach play, so good. His approach play is so good. So the things that are hit and miss are his off the tee, which when he's been losing off the tee recently, it's very slightly, like barely below 0. So we could throw that out. Same thing with around the green. It just seems like he's getting things back and then he's losing things as he's getting other things back. So middling performances like at the events recently. Had a good match, or he did not have a good match. Well, he got taken out in a playoff. That's right. But he won 2 matches. So he could have he controlled his destiny and ruined it on the last day in his last match, then lost in the playoff. So, but Tony has a great Masters record. Well, somewhat great. I mean, it's pretty good. He hasn't missed a cut. 10th in 2018, 5th in 2019. The November Masters of 2020, 38th, 10th in 2021, and a 35th in 2022. I like his form coming in. Let me click back in. I'm just curious to see what he was doing last year when he was coming into the Masters. So in 2022, yeah, not so good. Not as good as he's been this year. Missed the cut at Farmers, missed the cut at Phoenix, 33rd at Genesis, missed the cut at the Players, 29th at Valero, and 35th at the Masters, and then who knows what he did at the match play during that time. But he's not playing at Valero this year. He's getting the extra week, possibly getting some extra rounds at Augusta. I like Tony. Dustin Johnson. Okay, ignore the stats we see because those are his last rounds on the PGA Tour. But I think Dustin Johnson is still one of the LIV guys that will get up and contend at a Masters, contend at a U.S. Open. Yeah, I like him. I like him. You know, as we could see, even last year before he left, he wasn't playing a lot of competitive rounds in between majors. But even like 2021. Before he missed the cut at the Masters in 2021. He had what, 3 weeks in between playing Mayakoba and the Players. He just wasn't playing a lot already. He played the week before the U.S. Open. He played a couple weeks before the Open. So I don't know, man. I think Dustin can. I think he can still compete with these guys. I think he's one of the guys that can. Great Masters record. Great Masters record. He won it. He won the November Masters, which different course conditions. So, but he's competed in. I mean, the year before that in 2019, 2nd, 10th, 4th, 6th, 12th last year. So. I think Dustin is a guy that can still compete with these guys, even if he is having lackluster performances at LIV. But I like him at 8,800. Why not? Jason Day, a guy that I think a lot of people are going to be on at 8,700. He's finally getting back to the Masters. His form, man, his around the green is great. His putter is just lights out. His off the tee play is great. It's just the hit and miss with the approach play. But he's still, he's easily got to be like the 5th, 6th, maybe 7th best player in the world right now. And he's moving up the official world golf rankings. Let's look at his Masters record. So, 2011, 2nd, 13, 3rd, 14, 20th, 15, 28th, 16, 10th, 17th, 22nd, 18, 20th, 2019, 5th. Missed the cut in 2020, missed the cut last year. But these last 2 years, Jason Day was not the Jason Day of old. The new Jason Day is the Jason Day of old, and he's playing really good. I think he's going to be a popular option. I like him. I'm starring him. But I think his ownership is going to be too high, and I'd rather play some of these other guys. Cam Young and Victor Hovland. Man, these guys, I don't know. Cam Young, the putter is just god-awful. He missed the cut last year at the Masters. I do worry about his putter and his around the green. Excuse me. Wow. His around the green play, but he's great off the tee, bombs it. His approach can be hit and miss, but recently his approach numbers have been great. He played great at match play. He finished 2nd, lost to Sam Burns. I think the fatigue played a big role in him not playing so well in that final match, but he looks good. I just don't think he's a guy I'm going to. I think again he could be popular. Victor Hovland, and this guy's so good off the tee. He's so good with his irons, and then he is absolutely garbage around the greens, and his putter is not the best. And those are two things we're probably gonna need here. He's made the cut every year at the Masters, but nothing like amazing. 32nd, 21st, and 27th. Nothing to write home about. I don't know. I don't know what to do with him here. I like Vic. I like Vic as a player. But I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know about the 8,500 on him there. 2021 champion Hideki Matsuyama. Um, Man, it's scary. I guess we'll see what he does this week at Valero. He was playing today. They didn't finish the first round today. But he's there, he's playing, and it could be good for him to be playing, considering he missed the cut of Genesis, missed the cut of Arnold Palmer, withdrew last week at the match play. But this fifth place finish at the Players and gaining in all categories is a really good sign. I think he can do it. Let's just see what he was doing leading into the Masters last year. Last year too. Why not? So last year leading into the Masters, won Sony, 30th at Farmers, 8th at Phoenix, 39th at Genesis, 20th at API, and a 14th on his trip back after winning. The year that he won, oh man, this looks rough. Wow. 42nd at Phoenix, missed cut at Genesis, 15th at Mayakoba, 18th at API, missed the cut at the Players, 30th at Valero, and he wins the Masters. So, I don't know. I think he'll probably be a low-owned option. He can get it done. He's shown it. I didn't look at his full Masters history, but yeah, we saw last year it was a 14th, won in 2021. What else has he got? I mean, he's got a good record here. He's a great around the green player. I mean, he's great out of sand. He's got great touch around the greens. His putter really hit and miss. But yeah, 14th last year, 2021, a first. In the November Masters in 2020, he finished 13th, 32nd in 2019, 19th in 18, 2017 and 11th, 2016 a 7th, and a 2015 a 5th, and then a missed cut 54th and 27th. But I said I like guys with good course history. Hideki has great course history. It's just really going to be what's his health? You know? So we'll see when we get there. I'll put a star on him now. For now, at 8,400, I like him. Sam Burns never shows up at majors. 6th at Valspar, won the match play. I guess that could be a big boost to his confidence. Missed the cut at the Masters last year. Oh, just doesn't get it done in majors. I mean, 42nd at the Open. 27th at the U.S. Open. 20th at the PGA Championship. Even going back in, pretty much dead last at the Open in 2021. Missed the cut at the U.S. Open. Pass on Sam Burns. And I think he could garner some ownership just because of his finish at match play. Now, two guys I like right here at 8,200 and 8,100. Will Zalatoris and Sung J M. Will Zalatoris. And I hope he's healthy because I really want to play him. Not great performances at the Players at API. Not good at the match play. He lost all 3 matches. I think. Oops, I typed in his name. He could be a trap, or he could just show up and play it. I mean, if he's not highly owned because of injury concerns, because of the way he's been playing, I might take the risk. Second in his first year and the 6th last year. Will kind of has this place figured out. He's a great lag putter, great approach player. He's not the best around the green, but he's not the worst. And his off the tee play is pretty stellar too. So I'm hoping maybe he's a little bit less owned because of the injury concern, because of the recent form. So I like him. I'm starring him. And then Sung J M at 8,100. This guy plays a lot of golf. He is pretty consistent. He's got a week off. He's got a little bit of rest. I like it. I like the idea of a well-rested Sung J coming into the Masters. But 6th at the Players, big field, good finish. 21st at API. 42nd at Honda, 56th at Genesis, 6th at Phoenix, 4th at Farmers, 18th at American Express. So he's showing up at a lot of the big fields. Great off the tee. Can be a great approach player. Can be a slightly bad approach player, and he's got some touch around the greens, and the putter is okay. But if he's missing it, not so good. So he got a second place finish at the November 2020 Masters. Remember, different course conditions. He got an 8th here last year, and then he missed the cut in 2021. Let's see what his form was like coming into last year here. Yeah, kind of a similar lead-in. 11th at the American Express, 6th at Farmers, 33rd at Genesis, missed the cut at Honda, 20th at Arnold Palmer, 55th at the Players, and then 8th at the Masters. What did he do in 2021 leading in? 2021 leading in Phoenix 17th, Mayakoba 28th, 21st at API, 17th at Players, 8th at Honda, and then he missed the cut. So playing decently both years coming in. And then last year, it's kind of similar to what he's been doing this year, except for he played better at the Players this year. So, man, I like the idea of Sungjae. I'm gonna be honest. So, yeah, give me some Sungjae 8100. I mean, when's the dude 8100 for Sungjae? It's crazy. Moving down. I'm gonna pass on Matt Fitzpatrick still because I don't know. He's just not. It doesn't seem right. Tyrrell Hatton he's been playing good. He had a crazy hand injury at match play. I remember seeing that when live after I had him freaking bet and in some of my lineups. But he doesn't have a great Masters history, and I think the course history is a big thing at Augusta, and so I'll be passing on Tyrrell. That sucks. Shane Lowry not playing the best. The putter is absolutely garbage, and it is really hurting him because he's had some great approach numbers, and he's been decent. I mean, really good off the tee, and he's got some great hands on the green. But his putter is just absolutely ruining him. I mean, I think it's actually preventing him from winning tournaments. But his Masters record, he got a 3rd here last year, 21st in 2021, 25th in the November 2020 Masters, miscut, 39th miscut. So, other than last year, I mean, okay, yeah. I just don't like his putter is bad. His putter is really bad, so I'm not going to Shane Lowry this year. Joaquin Niemann, man, unfortunate that he left the PGA Tour. Great player. I hope he does good. Pass. Justin Rose, pass. Tom Kim, pass. This is kind of getting to the range where I don't like. Tommy Fleetwood. Tommy Fleetwood. Yeah. 3rd at Valspar, 27th at the Players. His approach numbers are great. His around the green is great. Putter, trending. It's just like his off the tee where he's a slight loser. But otherwise, I mean, Tommy is pretty good. He's only missed 1 cut at the Masters. 3 top 20s and a couple of Maybe he's not a bad option. Yeah, I could see playing Tommy. I like Tommy. Why not? Min Woo, guy I like. I like Min Woo. He's a fun guy to watch. Good to see this finish at the Players. Garbage approach numbers. Holy moly. His approach play is kind of scary, honestly. Great off the tee, except for apparently Palmer. He sucked. Around the green can be questionable. And the putter is hot and cold. So he played here last year. Finished 14th. I could see him doing well again this year. But I'm going to pass. The staple. Corey Connors. Yeah. He didn't get through all of his round today. The first round at Valero. But looking good so far. I think he was 3 under through 9 or something like that last time I checked. But he always seems to get it done at the Masters. I mean, look at this guy. Miscut his first year in 2015, 46 in 2019, and then a 10th, an 8th, and a 6th, and he's just getting better every year. Is this the year Corey Connors wins the Masters? I don't know. But I think I believe he plays Valero every year before. So the first year that this was the last chance to get in the Masters, he won it to get into the Masters. But 35th at Valero, then a 6th at the Masters last year, and then the year before that, a 14th and an 8th. Okay, and then the year before that, well, Valero wouldn't have been before, but that's unfortunate. We can't go off of that. When did he win? Where's the win at Valero? Right here. Won it in 2019 and then 46 at his first time at the Masters. Hey, but guess what? I like Corey Connors. Pass on Brooks Koepka. He is a ghost of himself, man. I don't know about that. Bryson DeChambeau. No, pass. He's not been good. Sorry, I'm just going off of what I've seen from these guys. Sahith, kind of interesting. Sahith is kind of interesting. He's got some distance. His approach play is all over the place. He's got some hands around the green. I mean, he's got a touch. I mean, some of these numbers don't reflect it, but man, he's got a touch. I love watching Sahith around the greens because he's got it. And then the putter is just like back and forth, but he can get a really hot putter. I could see Sahith doing good here. It's his first time here, but I'm sure he's there practicing. Yeah, he has never played here. I'm sure he's there practicing. He's not playing this week, so he's going to get a good look at the course. I could see Sahith doing good, and I like Sahith. I like him at 7,500. I don't think a lot of people will go to him. Adam Scott, obviously, has done well here. Has he? I don't know much about Adam Scott. Has he won here? He did. He won the Masters in 2013. Not too good of performances in the last 5 years. But he used to play very well here. He could. I mean, his approach numbers are god awful the last 3 times out. His putter is not the best. He's not the best around the greens. And he seems to be good off the tee. But these approach numbers are god-awful. So, no. Pass on Adam Scott for me. Abe Answer. I could see Abe Answer doing well here. Abe Answer has done well here in the past. Yeah, it's kind of hard with these guys not being able to. So, yeah, he missed a cut last year, but 26th in 2021 and then a 13th in 2020. So, I could see Abe Answer doing some damage. I think he's another guy that still wants to get up and play good golf, and he's not just kind of kicking his career to the curb. So I could see him doing well. Will I get there? Probably not. Siwoo at 7,400. Siwoo's been playing pretty good. I didn't see what he did the first round at the Valero, but yeah, Siwoo's just like a top 25 machine recently. Won at Sony, but after that, I mean, he's pretty consistent. Let's see what his Masters record is. He's got a pretty good Masters record. 39th last year, 12th in 2021, 34th in 2020, 2019, 21st, 2018, 24th. And the thing about this year is he switched his putting, and he's doing the broomstick putter now, which seems to kind of improved his putting game. Yes, he's lost the last 3 events out. Had a good match play. Didn't end up making it out of his group, but I think he won 2 of his matches. So, yeah, he's playing right now. I'm not worried about it fatiguing him. Let's see. Does he play it every year? So 13th last year at the Valero, then played the Masters the next week. What about in 2021? He did play the Valero the week before. Yeah, I like it. Give me some Siwoo. I like it at 7,400. Keegan. Oh yeah, Keegan. Good off the tee. Good on approach. Terrible with the putter. Not so good around the green. Middling Masters performance. I'm gonna pass on Keegan. I'm good. That was enough of a look for me. Patrick Reed, pass. Taylor Moore, pass. Tiger Woods. Hate to say it. Pass. Aaron Wise. Pass. Mito's definitely pass. Louis Oosthuizen. He hasn't. No, pass. He's been garbage on LIV. I'm just trying to go through a little bit quicker on the bottom. We're an hour in. Wow. Chris Kirk. Interesting. Is this his first time playing here? Interesting. Good approach player. Good off the tee. Decent off the tee. Great around the green. Putter can get hot. Putter's been really good actually. Other than at the Players, has he played at the Masters? Oh yeah, 20th in 2014, 33rd in 2015, and missed a cut in 2016. He hasn't played since 2016 at the Masters. That could be motivating for him. That could be a motivator for him. I like him. 7100 Chris Kirk, give me that. Keith Mitchell, interesting. Great off the tee. He's hit and miss around the greens. Putters hit and miss, and his approach play has been pretty good recently. Has he played the Masters? 2019, 43rd. Pass. Kurt Kitayama. Oh, Kurt. I could see him doing well here. Pass. Did well at match play, but pass. Russell Henley does perform here. I don't like what he's been doing recently. He hasn't really shown much. What has he done at the Masters? 30th, 15th, 11th, 21st, 31st. For $7,000 player, that's actually pretty good. Let's see what his form was coming in last year. Oh, he didn't. Oh, he didn't play this last year. Oh, a year. Okay. Where's Master? Right there. Pretty good form coming in. He didn't play in 2021? Apparently not. What about 2020? He didn't. Okay. 2019? Bruh. Am I crazy? Did I just not pay attention to the years he's played? Oh, 2018, 2017. Oh, okay. So he played last year. He's interesting. I'm going to star him. Great approach player. Can hit fairways. Putters. So yeah. No on Billy. No on Sergio Garcia. No on Thomas Peters. Tom Hoagie. Kind of interesting. Has he played here before? Approach. He's a great approach player. Putter. He did play the Masters last year. Got 39th. Pass. I like other guys around him. Bubba at 69. Two-time Masters champion, Bubba Watson. Of course, does favor lefties. He has a long history here. He's not a LIV guy that I think. Pass. Alex Noren, no. Seamus Power, no. A LIV guy that I am interested in. Taylor Gooch had a really good performance here last year. And I still think he's probably a guy that will try to come out and compete. Yeah, 14th here last year. I could see Gooch doing good. I'll take Gooch. I like Gooch. Yeah. Brian Harmon I think for some reason I feel like he does decent at the Masters, and especially at his price this year. He's been god awful this year. I mean, he hasn't gained strokes on approach since November. Oh. What's his Masters record? Not that good. Never mind. Didn't need to do that deep of a look. Pass on Brian Harmon. Gary Woodland is interesting for sure. Yeah. Putter, terrible. Absolutely terrible. Yes. But, wait, his ball striking's been really good. He's just gaining a ton off the tee. His around the green is terrible. His putter's terrible. And he can have those flash approach weeks. Not good. Never mind. Pass on Gary Woodland. That's all I need to do. Ryan Fox. Has Ryan Fox played the Masters? Not a good start at the Valero, which doesn't make me happy. Hasn't played the Masters, and he's playing, and he's not gonna get a lot of time at the get a lot of practice. Pass on Ryan Fox. Pass on Harris English. Cam Champ is another guy that always seems to show up at the Masters, no matter what. 19th in 2020, 2021, 26th, and 10th last year. That's what got him qualified back in. There's a lot of miscuts here. But if you look last year leading into the Masters, I mean, look at this from January. Miscut, 46, miscut, 67th, 61st, miscut. The week before the Masters, miscut, 10th. Let's go back to 2021 from January. 31st, miscut, 48th, miscut, 34th, 26th. 2019. Or 2020, sorry. Let's go back a couple months. BMW, 65th. 24th at Tour Championship, that doesn't count. Miscut at the US Open, miscut at Shriners, 42nd at CJ Cup, 8th at Zozo, 19th at Masters. It just doesn't matter what his form is. It just seems like he shows up. But I think a lot of people use him because they know that. Still starting him at 6,600. I like it. Got a couple of darlings on here. JT Poston, has he ever played the Masters? Man, I feel bad. I'm sorry. This is such a long video, but I really want to get that miscut 2020. He hasn't done much impressive. You know, he's not doing really a lot. Pass. Francesco Molinari has the history here, but just has not been playing well. So I think it's gonna be a pass. It's gonna be a pass. Danny Willett, former champion at the Masters, not playing bad actually. Danny Willett could be interesting. He's not playing bad at all. 41st, let's just go back to January. Miscut at the American Express. 41st at Pebble Beach. 18th at Genesis. 29th at Honda. 34th at Arnold Palmer, elevated event. 27th at the Players, elevated event. What's he been doing? Let's look at these last two events. Gain off the tee, gain on approach, gain on the green, gain with the putter at Players, loss with the putter at Arnold Palmer. What is Danny's Masters history? I think Danny could be a sneaky play down here in the 6K range. 12th last year, miscut in 2021, 25th in 2020, miscut, and then he won it in 2016. Man, he's playing good. I think he could be a sneaky little play at the end. Yeah, I like Danny Willett, 6,600. Just looking down here real quick. I'm just gonna pick out a couple more names real quick. Kevin Na has a great history at the Masters. He's a LIV guy that I actually think is trying to play good golf, and I mean, look at the last 3 years: 14th, 12th, 13th, 46th, miscut, 55th, 12th, 59th, 12th, miscut, 10th. Oh, okay, that's better. 14th, 12th, 13th, 46th, miscut, 55th, 12th, 59th, 12th, miscut. So it's basically miscut or top 15 for Kevin Na. He's a guy I like lower down. You know, we won't know what his numbers are like because, you know, he's been at LIV, but man, 6,500 for a guy that can show up at this course. I like it. Not on Phil, pass on Phil, pass on Schwartzel, Cageley, pass Moronk, pass on Zach Johnson, Scott Stallings, Sepp Straka, whoever that guy is, Kisner, whoever that guy. Who are these guys? I know these are past champions, old guys. They don't matter. But Mackenzie Hughes. Why do I feel like Mackenzie Hughes could do something here? Could get a spark from the match play, maybe. What's he done at the Masters? Not good. Pass. Never mind. We're not going to go that deep into it. Okay, so we ran down the board. It took us an hour, but hopefully that's in depth for you. You know, and helps you out a little bit. So, yeah, I like the top three, and then I like this little 81 to 9100 range, and then I got some guys in the mid to low sevens I like, and I got some guys in the 6K range I like. So that makes me happy. Yeah, gonna do a core play video when the betting odds get reset. We'll do a betting video for that. That'll probably be Saturday, I think. And I don't know, might do some other things before we get to the Masters next week. So hopefully that helps you out. Good luck this week. It's fun. I love this event. I love this course. I love these players. Yeah, so good luck this week. Let's win some money. Let's hit a outright. Let's win a DFS lineup. Let's just hit it big this week. I feel it coming, man. It's been close. It's been close. So process has been good. I really think you should look at course history quite a bit when you're looking here, and don't be scared of some of these live guys. You definitely can pass on like Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau, but Dustin Johnson, Cam Smith, and some of these other guys that have played good here in the past, like Kevin Na, Taylor Gooch, guys that still seem like they want to get up and play good golf and compete with these other guys. Play them. Don't be afraid, and then maybe their ownership will be lower. So, yeah, maybe later in the week we'll do like an ownership video, look through some pivots and some fades and things like that. But for now, thanks for watching. If you watch this whole thing, I really appreciate it. If not, and you skipped ahead and you're somehow seeing this, thank you. If this helps out at all, leave a like, leave a comment who you think's gonna win the Masters, and subscribe if this was helpful. And this is the longest video I put out. This was fun. I like talking through it a lot. It's an important week, so we got to do the research. We got to really talk about it, especially since it's the first event where these live guys are coming back and they could throw a wrench in things. So, yeah, let's have fun with it. Enjoy the Masters. I'm gonna be getting out next week. You see my clubs behind me. I was cleaning them. I'm getting ready to get out there and get informed myself. So good luck, everybody. I will see you later on in the week for more content for the Masters.